Yeah, they might look for a Roman, might be Diggy. I don't know, I'm just like maybe a Diggy because there's tons of crowd control, but nope, it is a Idris. Okay, so I wanted to say that Lotrix's first appearance at Mena was actually with the Beatrix, and this guy plays Beatrix really good. And also Super, he concluded Mena by using that Edith.
Okay, so some comfort picks happening here for Team Falcons. As for the side of Niightmare Esports, what are your thoughts, Arashi?
For Niightmare, it's a lot of dive, but it's also with the Akai though, so I don't get why the Terizla is picked alongside with the Akai. I feel like it's a pretty weird combination. But if the idea is to use the rest of the crowd control, the penalty zone and the special migration as a deterrent, and then while doing so, using the heavy spin to secure the neutral objective, then it's a very good neutral objective center take. But the problem is that's only going to be useful to secure the objective. Afterwards, they can't really escape from all the chase and dive coming in from the side of Falcons.
It's a tricky combination to have to pull off. We'll see whether or not Niightmare Esports can live up to the hype, because right now they're going to be one game down as we enter into the land of Dawn. Game number 2. Team Falcons one step away from another clean sweep. Will they be able to do so? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
The long-awaited second game finally underway right here. And already a big difference here, but Goodnight.
Goodnight is about to sleep. Look at Goodnight, he's still trying to get that damage, but he goes back in a really strange way. He had to use his flicker, right?
Not a bad choice, though. I feel like, yes, it's a very aggressive. Oh, Hulk?
Yeah, almost. Almost
he's
gone.
fine.
It's not like after a long break, everyone's just eager to get some action.
Oh, they do get some action. Hulk is out. Hulk is out. He just signs out. He knows that he's down. That's first blood for Team Niightmare.
That is something that's so dangerous, man. The Guinevere gank potential. Now Cammy here, he might, something might be up right here. It seems like Team Falcons, they're putting their attention on the other side of the map. Usually we see him play around Hulk, but now, knowing, I guess, that Lotrix on his signature hero, they want to make sure that he gets a dominant, decisive laning phase.
Yeah, it's an understandable concern here, especially considering the stakes. Right now, Team he's
trying to jump in, but he jumps in the air in another way. Super saves Lotrix.
Nice response right there. Being able to outplay that is pretty solid from Lotrix there. He definitely sensed that something was coming, dashed away. They don't have enough damage yet to finish off Jasmine, but it's still pretty nice.
Yeah, he's getting now some passive, and Hulk is trying to get that kill. He forces Joviana to use his flicker, so he goes back, and he will not be able to use the penalty zone with the flicker at the turtle time.
Great play by Hulk there to get engaged when there's no minions around, so Juviana can't really regen from the Festival of Blood that he has. But here's where the draft really makes sense for Niightmare Esports. Can they secure the first turtle and put Leo behind?
Well, we'll see right now because the spark is on and there's a Leo with the second skill tries, and he did secure that turtle. First turtle goes to the side of Team Falcons. Everything's safe, everyone is alive, and things are going a little bit. Yeah, it's Sai, right? Yeah, that was not going toward anyone.
That was a clean defense there. Super going for the aggressive engage to try and lock down too easy for Lexi before the heavy spin can come out. Allow them to secure
the penalty zone. Hulk is trying to escape, and there's so much pressure. Hulk is still alive, but it's just one touch away. One touch away. He manipulates death, and he's back alive for a skill. Oh, flicker here. Here he is with that first skill. Leo is going deep. Leo is going so deep. He wants Juviana, and he gets Juviana. Look at Hulk. Look at Falcons. Look at Falcons. They are flying.
Plays all over the map right there, man. On the top, on the bottom, everywhere. A display of mechanics and dominance on the map. What a draft and what a game plan so far, but with that advantage, will they just try and circle around Niightmare Esports and suffocate them? Because they have the tools to do so.
Yeah, they definitely do. They do still have to respect somewhat, because Jasmine and Juliana, if they're able to get a good engage right now, the network difference isn't enough.
Oh, he's jumping in the air. He's jumping in the air, and he gets what he wants. Lotrix is down. Kami gets that kill. Oh, he just assists, but Team Niightmare seems to fight back.
What a gank there. That's the Guinevere ganking potential we've been always hyping up about. That's exactly why Yasu felt that it won't really make an appearance. It's just so dynamic, and it happens so fast, and it actually covers so much more distance compared to a lot of other engage tools. So for now, with the turtle coming up, I think the favor still lies on Team Falcons, but look at this.
Jasmine's trying to play it so risky, but he knows what he was about to witness. It was a kill for Team Falcons.
Turtle going to be taunted now, pulled over to the Team Falcon side. All 5 players on both teams going to be in the area as Juviana's pulled back.
Juviana is in a really bad place. He's alone. He's trapped alone. Neo's trying to dance with that turtle. They are leaving Juviana because they know that the turtle is more important. And Akai goes in. Too easy for Lexi. It is too easy for Lexi. He wins that retribution battle.
Good for him, man. Finally making the Akai pick work in his favor. That was a massive fight, though. Niightmare Esports, they actually dove towards Goodnight and made sure that the Nether Realm can't be used efficiently there. Even with the Black Dragon form used by Hawk, it's still they're unable to actually stave up the aggression and get Goodnight in position for a good turtle fight. That could be the winning condition, the winning strategy they can use again and again.
It was a good attempt to zone by Team Falcons, but here they go again.
Super wants, he's going in, he wants to take that kill. He's not going down alone. Juviana doesn't even go down, but they will punish him. It is inevitable. You have 4 members down, and Falcons take Juviana down.
A little bit of vengeance there for the previous kill in the mid lane. Hulk going to be defending, but the tier 1 tower does fall on Niightmare Esports, taking advantage of Team Falcon's over rotation to the bot lane.
They're just trading kills, trading objectives. They're just eager to really get some action going on in this game right here. Without a turtle around for another 40 seconds, both teams are just rotating around. But for the most part, if they want to go for this skirmish-heavy playstyle, I think Niightmare Esports can come out on top, man. Team Falcons, they want to be together in order for Leo to take advantage of the movement speed boost from the decimation.
That is true, and if Team Falcons are playing too close together, Niightmare Esports, they're just going to look for that opportunity. And speaking of,
Lotric is going to a really bad place, but now he sees that Team Nightmare are coming and they want that bot lane turret. He manages to pull up a defense here. I thought they will take the turret easily.
They're waiting for the wave right here, and once it does collide, Cammy can just one-tap this turret. But with 3 members defending, can Lexi find the pin?
Oh, too easy for Lexi, or what? Lotric now being alive, still held alive by Goodnight, but the Black Dragon is here into the land of Dawn. He will cause chaos. He is already causing mayhem, but Juviana in the back line holding that Goodnight, wishing him not wishing him a good night. Juviana is down, but Leo goes down along with him. It is incredible at the bot lane.
I will say that this game, Niightmare Esports' rotations feel a lot cleaner than what we've seen of them previously. The time that they've taken to discuss and figure out how they want to outplay Team Falcons seems to have been quite valuable here. Because right now, even though Team Falcons are still playing the same old way and honestly are finding some good chances, the amount of tools that Niightmare Esports has is making it very difficult when combined with their newfound aggression.
They just have to set up more properly, right? For Niightmare Esports, a lot of the heroes, like I said, are self-sufficient, right? There's a lot of like independent skills built in there. Sustain, for example, from the Guinevere and the Terizla, wave clear, crowd control. They have a lot of ways they can really go for like a 2v2. Whereas for Team Falcons, the whole idea of this comp, including the presence of the Faramis, is to work together as 5 in a big team fight. So when Niightmare Esports push the tempo and go for fights when Team Falcons aren't quite ready yet, that's where they can get an advantage. That's why they have to try and push the tempo even more. High speed is the name of the game right here for Team Nightmare.
Yeah, up until now, Niightmare Esports hasn't really shown a capability to be able to out-tempo a team with the experience of Team Falcons, but they're really demonstrating it here. Looking at the itemization, the marksmen are still pretty even, so the late game for Falcons is still there.
Look at the items from the side of Niightmare Esports, dude. They're stacking a lot of physical defense, knowing that the Faramis has damage, but that's later on, right? People think that Faramis maybe is, you need a slow amount of items to be relevant on the Faramis, but no, actually, if you want to do damage, you require a lot more items than you would imagine. So now with an Enchanted Talisman and maybe an NOD build up, or building towards an NOD, not enough damage right here to be a real threat. So they're stacking physical defense. They're going in.
They are stacking defense, but they are also stacking Leo. They are trying to get that Leo pinned to the wall, and he is pinned to the wall. Hulk is going in. He wants to again cause some mayhem, but he goes back to penalty zone. Now they have to pay the penalty. Team Falcons are now in the sky, but not in the way they want to be. Look at Team Niightmare. They are now shredding everyone apart, shredding everything apart, taking all the turrets and taking all the kills.
We were wondering if the combination of turrets... Oh my goodness, Goodnight nearly dying as well. We wondered if the combination of Terizla and Akai would really work well together, because on paper it feels like an anti-synergy, but Niightmare Esports are just layering their crowd control, constantly picking off the members of Team Falcons who are trying their best to reposition, but it's so difficult.
The fact that Team Falcons are just flustered and just scrambling to get into these fights instead of going for a proper setup, I think it's partially why Niightmare Esports is having so much success. Now again, you can see that Niightmare Esports are in position and two members from Team Falcons are just now exiting the base. So for Team Falcons, they gotta slow the tempo down a bit. And if they have to give up a few objectives, I think they should. With a Pharamids and with a Beatrix, they can quite reliably clear the waves before Niightmare Esports can siege and take down turrets. Of course, there's the Brody that becomes a problem there. But it's so much better for them to slow the tempo down instead of just going in a more like a 50-50 style, because this really benefits Niightmare Esports, the more aggressive team with the more aggressive skirmish composition.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Slowing it down would be quite beneficial for Falcons, but they don't have a lot of resources left to be able to trade comfortably against their opponents. And although the net worth difference isn't that big just yet, Niightmare Esports are really putting on the pressure.
Oh, they are putting on pressure, and they are now getting Leo away from that Lord, and they already take that Lord, but look at the damage coming from the Juiviana. Goodnight is trying his best to make his team survive, but now they are pinned to the wall. They are pinned to the wall. Too easy for Lexi. It is too easy for Nightmare to take and ace that team fight. Goodnight comes back once again. And Low Trick, where is he going?
Will actually finish that recall, able to get a tier 1 mid at the very least, but without his damage, Team Falcons really fell apart there to Nightmare.
Because they weren't really planning on going for a fight. Niightmare Esports just found a chance to cut them off. This is the story right here. For Team Falcons, they should stop and make use of the Beatrix and the Pharamids to just clear the waves as much as possible. With the ultimate from a Beatrix, they can really defend for a prolonged amount of time. And if Nightmare dive carelessly, Falcons definitely can punish back.
We've already seen it repeated many times in history before. This is going to be a very sensitive timing for Niightmare Esports, because a lot of teams are the most comfortable when they are able to play together within their own base. But 12 minutes in, the Lord is going to be crashing down bot tower pretty soon.
Yeah, the bot lane, there was a flicker second skill coming from the Guinevere, but she couldn't land it on Low Trick. So I was about to say, we have old spells already, but Team Nightmare seems to lose that spell second skills there, and also second skill from the other side. Leo manages to escape, but the turret doesn't manage to escape the damage coming from that Brody, and Team Nightmare just gets one inhibitor turret with that Lord.
Well, the shoe's on the other foot right now with an 8k gold lead. Nightmare Esports can do a lot right here. It can go for farm, you can go for pickups on Team Falcons, but it seems like Team Falcons, they're looking for an opportunity right here. I think they need some more levels on top of gold as well to ensure that their skills do level up and do a lot more for them in these fights. Cammy secures the Rose Gold Meteor here, so once Goodnight has some items, like we see right here, the Lightning Truncheon, Cammy already has a solution for it, so he's building preemptively, which is what you need to be doing against a team that really knows how to play around their power spikes.
In fact, looking at the items, Cammy's only one item away from being full build already. So that's a big problem for Team Falcons here, especially when you consider that they don't have all that much defense, just the Antique and the double dominance on their side. It may not be enough here, not to mention only a single Radiant armor against a hero like the Guinevere and Lilia.
Oh, I guess the Guinevere and Lilia, the Radiant armor will do okay, but you know, after I still want to protect you from the initial big burst. If they really layer down all their spells right there, maybe they can really consider going for a bit more magical defense. But for now, Niightmare Esports are content just taking over the jungle. Now it's going to be a Lord fight. The Lord does more damage right here, so I think for Niightmare Esports, it's a great opportunity, but also a great risk. But once they see logic on the bottom side of the map, they are definitely going to go and try to at least force Team Falcons to engage them without their marksman.
The big question to pose is, what is Team Falcons willing to give up right here? Do they want to give up pressure? Team fight DPS, the Lord? Hold on.
Oh, hold on indeed, because Leo is pushed away and he is getting melted down by that Lilia. He cannot escape. He cannot escape. He doesn't have that second skill. Lilia is still dealing so much damage. Viana comes in and he manages with that penalty zone to take Leo out just before that Lord fight, just before that Lord engage. And good night, good night, good night to you, good night. You're out, but you are back in again. I don't know. Was it like a second until he came back?
Very much passive, very valuable in the situations, but there's no Netherrealm. How can Falcons defend?
Oh, Falcons can defend using every weapon that the Beatrix have, but Viana and too easy for Lexi lose too much HP than they can afford. Hulk right now is trying to zone Team Nightmare away, and I think that this will be a successful defense.
But for how long, though? You can see how much of a problem. So,
whoa! So lives.
The black shoe is just in time. This Lilia is a massive problem to Team Falcons. Hasn't died yet this game. And the amount of damage coming out with only a single Radiant armor is really evident at this point, considering even Leo wasn't able to get away from him. Lord's coming in. The base is naked. Can Falcons survive again?
The Lord is even untouched. He's going in with full HP. He's going in while Team Falcons are trying to survive that final push. Penalty zone by Viana. Hole goes down and the base is exposed. The base is exposed. Team Nightmare have sent Team Falcons to sleep at this game, and they will have that nightmare.
Against all the odds, Niightmare Esports from Laos are able to overcome their dominators in game number 1 and even things out once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we have another game 3 on the menu. Coming in from Niightmare Esports.
0 deaths right here. Of course, the Purify plays a part in that, but 82% kill participation. Nothing to sneeze at. And looking at his item builds, he was able to be chased down the Martis, who has that card control immunity with the Ice Queen's one slow. And even afterwards, going with the Brute Force Breastplate, understanding there's a limited amount of magical damage threat coming in from the side of Team Falcons here. That's a great item that allows him to move forwards aggressively a lot better, but also defensively when he's kiting back. So the fact that he is now a lot more mobile and still doing a lot more damage is just something that Team Falcon can't really deal with right now.
Yeah, I think that the most annoying thing for Team Falcons was the slowdown effect, and also each time that Guinevere was jumping on Leo especially, I think the most problem that Team Falcons had was zoning out of the neutral objectives.
I feel like in this game it was even kind of even in the beginning, because it was a bit of a back and forth kind of situation, and usually it would really benefit the Martis. But afterwards, after Leo got some of the plays here, after the top lane also falls, it seems like they thought it was, it's their time to shine. But then they started losing in objective trades. They went for the dive right here. It worked out, but afterwards, they don't really play together. And once Niightmare Esports was able to separate them like this, by sending Terizla to get between the backliners and the frontliners, then Leo is going in alone, and Goodnight is in the back unprotected. And if you don't fight S5 with this composition from Team Falcons, it's just not its maximum strength in the situation.
Yeah, I don't think they were prepared here, because this is probably the most coordinated we have seen Niightmare Esports ever since the beginning of the wildcard. I don't know if they figured something out, but we do need to see more of it from this team, because right now this is a huge evolution. The way they've been able to pressure out Team Falcons entirely, the way they chase them down. Unfortunately, I think too much pressure was put into the side lanes, and Soso was ignored for a little bit too long.
Can't really ignore him, especially in the mid lane. He's working with Too Easy for Lexi, and on the Akai, losing the first turtle was a bit of a setback, but afterwards, he's using the heavy spin aggressively, knowing that the rest of his team has the more aggressive, the more punishing card control tools that can use to really counter-engage after everyone has used a lot of their spells to really get away or get out of the way from that heavy spin.
Yeah, it was a rough game here for Team Falcons, and despite their best efforts, they were not able to bring things back together. So Nightmare Esports now looking to be pretty solid. Do you think this momentum will be enough for them to cause quite the upset?
Well, Team Nightmare, if I'm not like speaking about Team Nightmare, I think that Juiviana should take most of the credit. I know that Suso actually had the MVP, but every time Juiviana entered with that penalty zone, he was just like shaking Team Falcons around. He was like making them unable to coordinate between each other. So if there's an MVP that I could give, I would give it to Juiviana.
Well, Juliana definitely was the big problem in the middle of the big fight. But even initially, I would say that I think Jasmine was also a huge portion why Team Falcons were having so much of a difficulty. They were looking out for the heavy spin engagement. They're looking for the penalty zone to avoid it. Before you know it, the spatial migration lands, showing again why it's so good. And the fact that you can actually land that spell out of a bush, by the way, during a lane gank, is just such a long distance. And that's something that it's hard to really play around with.
It catches you so off guard, and that's why Guinevere as a hero is so powerful right now. The fact that she can reflect into so many different positions is so valuable during the drafting phase, and the length of time that you're crowd controlled when you're caught by that spatial migration combo is deceptively long. So it's understandable that it would be difficult to have to deal with it, especially in that early game when they're putting so much pressure onto Hulk lane specifically. Nightmare Esports was able to convert that pressure and use the tools at their disposal to completely split up these fights from Team Falcon.
Unfortunately for Team Falcon, just in this game, they didn't have the staying power to just stay in front of Nightmare Esports because they were already so behind in gold. If you look at the cards right here, Juviana is actually the rich guy. So in the EXP lane, he was just clearing and picking up a lot of kills and assists when it's possible. The carry is still so-so, of course, with the late game Lilia, but super. You gotta give him credit as well for just absorbing so much damage in this game that has a lot of action.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's very difficult for Super to do a lot in this game on that Edith. He has to pick a specific hero on the side of Nightmare Esports to actually grab. And if that happens to be the wrong one, like for example, Soul in the late game, then he just black shoes out of it, and there's no longer a safe engage for Team Falcon, since at that point, Hulk and Leo are a little bit too behind. They're not going to be able to tank the damage coming out of their opponents. So it's a rough situation to be in. So,
yeah.
Like, I don't really know, like, what should they have done?
Well, Team Falcons at the early game, I think they had not a bad early game. Actually, they were a bit in like, let's say, in the driver's seat. But when it got further, when we started to see things happen and shift after that second turtle, Team Falcons just vanished from the Land of Dawn.
I think they just started spreading apart because when they were playing around Leo, we saw the double come in. We saw that around the map, they were able to make plays.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they noticed, like, hey, we just got a big play on the bottom side of the map. We just got another pickup on the top side of the map. We don't have to stick together. We're strong enough to really make plays happen everywhere at once, which is great if you can pull it off. But afterwards, once Nightmare Esports just grouped together, it seems like they just were late to the party, right? They keep getting cut off in the middle, and a lot of their members are not present in the beginning of the fight.